Oh, thank you. I did my hair for you. So everything beyond that is like pajamas. Oh, those eyebrows look good.
Hey, I just
Yes.
tossed it on real quick.
Very nice. Very nice. Do you know that I have not gotten threaded or any sort of upkeep since the dawn of the pandemic? And let me tell you,
Oh, like at all, not
it's
this year.
nothing.
I'm
And
proud of you. That
um
is impressive. You look amazing.
well, thank you. Thank you. I'm having to like watch YouTube videos to remember how to do the things myself
I,
because this is not this isn't the shape
not
that I
what it,
spent my
yeah.
entire 20s trying to achieve and then perfect in my early 30s to just throw away.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
I
okay.
haven't, yeah, June, because after I caught COVID in July, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. Nothing's safe. So I've been plucking my eyebrows and I am overdue for a touch-up.
Man,
We're
very
we're
good.
just washing and blow drying
Yes, yes.
but
They
the
look very good.
roots are
Oh,
they have something to say. So
yeah, yeah. I have like hi, we're almost 40, peeking up all over the place.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That crew is up in this bun. The back
Yeah.
is like not telling business, but that front is like,
Now,
girl,
this
almost
is
40.
and a year and a half of, you know,
Yes. Yes.
yeah. Oh wait, no, we're past a year and a half. I
Yes.
need to stop saying year and a half. We're almost up on 2 years.
Yes.
So,
Because this year is almost over.
so fast.
Cole's like, Mommy, this year is flying by. I'm like, no,
Word.
this is
Like if the
crazy.
babies are realizing it.
Exactly. Like, didn't we just have Thanksgiving?
Yes. I mean, really. Like
Yes.
really, really. Oh my gosh. It's wild. It's
I'm
wild.
so excited. I was
How are
looking
you
for,
doing? How are you feeling?
I'm good. Just everyone
Good.
is out of the house today. Yesterday, there were people banging on the door, and I was just like, I hope
Mm-hmm.
no one can hear.
That happens.
Like their children held hostage or something. Like they're just being
Kind
very
of.
extra. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like,
Mine are kind of
what are
being held
you
hostage
doing?
upstairs. Yeah. Akeem is doing bedtime. I already said goodnight.
Oh,
It's
see,
like,
yeah.
yeah.
And I didn't
So,
do that ahead of time. So it's like
mm-hmm.
you're messing up the routine, lady. So what is
Word.
happening up
One of them
there?
they would just come over here and like grab the phone, like, what are you doing? What are
Yeah.
you trying to do? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
everybody's gone
understand.
today.
Yes.
So
Well,
very
nice.
excited. Make me have some time to like breathe and
Yeah.
yeah, not
That's
run crazy.
good. That's good. Well, I'm very excited
Yes, hi Kayla.
to talk about it. I mean, obviously we may not get to all all the things, but for anyone watching and who will watch, we have not discussed
No,
anything in
no.
this, and I have been avoiding
Yes.
so that I wouldn't, so I could just do all the things now,
Right, right.
which means we won't get to all of it, but that's
No,
fine.
no,
I'm
we're
gonna
gonna
try.
have our own separate, like
Yes,
whatever we didn't
yes.
get to.
Because I just want to sit here and be like, you know which one was my favorite? This one. Then this other one was my favorite, and then let me read this to you. Yeah. So since we can't do that for an hour,
Yeah.
we'll have to have our own off camera, or maybe
Yeah.
on camera, but
Oh, yeah.
discussion.
Yeah, yeah.
Because FaceTime, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Should we get started?
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. All right. All right. Here we go. In a high place. First, I have to ask you about this picture because, you know, I love a good tree.
Yes.
And I really want to know why the tree, why this picture, how did you come to this cover? Because I know a cover is It's a
Yes.
whole thing, and there's a lot
Yes.
of back and forth
Yeah.
and back
Um,
forth. So I'm curious how we came to this cover.
so this, uh, when we were taking the picture, I don't think I realized the magnitude of the tree because
Mm,
there's like a little spool that I was sitting on. And so
mm-hmm.
I think I just only noticed like the little lower branches. But
Yeah.
then when she sent me the pictures, and I was just like, it felt like a high place. It just, because by then I kind of had like a working title, but
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea what I wanted the cover to be or look
Mm,
like. I was like, that's it. Like, me aligning underneath this tree is just spoke so many things to me of things that I'd already like written and thought about. And I was just like my face, my position, not having shoes on,
mm-hmm.
um, the things that I toss in about nature and noticing God's creation. It was just all of that
Yes.
in this picture. And I was like,
Yes. I love it.
this is the one. Like, it just has
So
to
do you
be.
know what it reminds me of when I saw the
Mm.
cover? So the color purple,
Mm.
Alice Walker, she was like very adamant that there needed to be a tree on the cover of like the original cover of the color purple.
Oh, see, no,
And so
wait,
I
that's,
always think of her, and also she just loves nature and trees and all the
yes, she
things.
does.
So it made
Where's
me
my
think of
copy?
that
I
we're,
can't
I
find my
know. And it's
copy.
that original cover
Oh,
that she has the tree, like
like
it
the
was like that
very first.
house and the
Oh,
tree.
okay.
But yeah, that's
Because
what
I
it made
think
me
my
think of.
version just has like purple flowers
Yes.
on the one that I
Mm-hmm.
have.
And then there's the one
Yeah.
with like Celie in the chair, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
not Celie in the chair.
Or
There's
yeah,
someone in the chair.
the character. Mm-hmm.
Yes. But yeah, that's
Yes.
what it made me think of.
And when while I was writing, she did, I can't remember, it was probably in the spring. She spoke at UAB here in Alabama, and she did like an extensive talk about trees and
No.
her love for nature. I have to send you the video
Yes,
because
please.
it was a video, it was like a virtual thing, but I was like recording with my phone because
Of
I was
course.
like, I need this saved
Yes.
in my own archives to go back to and like listen to. But yes, hearing her talk about trees, I was just like, yes, like,
Oh, I love it.
and referencing, just those women and my love for the color purple was like, Alice, we
Right.
are in the wave together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, how can you not be, you know? And you see
I
they're all purple
know.
tabs.
Yes.
But I'm gonna try not
Yes.
to make this
I
whole
saw
thing
that.
about the color purple because I can do that.
I,
Could definitely do that.
yes. And I was like, surely we are going to dive into the color purple.
I'm hoping that there's time because any opportunity to discuss the
Yes.
color purple and I'm all over it. But I'm gonna try to give the people what they want,
Yes.
which is to talk about the book.
Talk about the
But okay, so let's start. Okay, with for any who have not read In a High Place, have not gotten their copy yet. What is this book about? What is this? What is your hope for this book? What do you hope will come across with this
I
book?
hope that people read it and feel um, that they can be navigate their way back to who they are, who they were, or who they desire to be. And that, you know, I've been saying, don't curse the journey for what it gave you. And
Mm,
I feel a lot of that in a lot of the things that I'd written because it's me processing pain, it's me processing uncertainty. And in that process, you can often, you know, begin to like, dang, why is this my life? Or why did this have to happen to me? And, and
oh yes,
and
oh
I
yes.
just kept feeling this, don't curse the journey for what it gave you. And so I hope that in reading my own processing and healing and grieving and pain. And also at the same time, like my optimism and excitement and love through it all, that people will feel that same about their own experiences, you know?
Don't curse the journey for what it gave you. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that so much. And I get that from this book. There's a lot of like breadcrumbs throughout that you leave to sort of come back to even
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
like a hard part that's difficult to read or very excited. You kind of weave in these little touchstones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right. Well, I think you've accomplished that, but that's
Yes,
just my
thank
opinion.
you.
Okay. So why now? Why this book now? How did it come out now?
I feel like it is a time where so many women are really processing their own journeys. It just,
Yes.
if this was a question, my therapist asked me this same question.
Oh, word.
She did.
Yes.
She's like,
Yes. Let's have a
and
therapy session.
I
Yes.
just have noticed, it just, I don't know. It's like I know but when time, it just, there's just something in the air. Oh,
Uh-oh. Who's messing with the
sorry.
connection? Okay, there it
I had an alarm go off.
is. Oh, that might happen.
Yeah. But it just felt like a time where so many, especially millennial Black women, were really looking at their journey as mothers and questioning and mourning and loving. And I don't know, it felt like now is the time to connect all and seeking, like,
Yes.
where are the people who have experienced this? And after what we've all like experienced and felt the last 2 years and just the disconnectedness, I continue to go back to this need for community. And I just feel like so many of us are seeking that or desiring it.
Yeah.
And this just feels like an on time type of speak to the time of that we're experiencing and living through and needing like that encouragement and affirmation and all of those things that are sprinkled throughout the book.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. So when you were writing it over, let's just say this last almost 2 years
yeah.
of pandemic living, was this something that, did you feel like you were in this sort of stillness that was created in the pandemic that you were able to finally sort of like put all that, because I know this has been some years in the making,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So was it that kind of stillness and that forced processing that kind of made it come out in this way?
Yeah. I know people are like, getting on to those who were like, take this time to do the thing that you've been putting on. It's like, we're in a pandemic, leave us alone.
Word.
Like, we just want to eat.
I'm cleaning groceries.
Survive. Yes. But I did, I was like, I had been putting this off and really like as an avoidance and not as a lack of time. You know what I mean? It was just like,
I do.
I don't want to sit and read because a lot of this I hadn't read until like the last 2 years. I've been writing and just forgetting. And so yeah, it was and then, just therapeutic. And how long are you gonna run from these things that you care so deeply about? Because I kept coming back to, I wanna write this book. I wanna share this poetry. So it wasn't going away as it wasn't like we're just writing to write.
Right.
I knew that I wanted to share it, and that part of sharing wasn't going away. So it's like, okay, in order for you to share, you're going to have to read and really sit with the elements and the things that you want to share.
Right.
And so, yeah, I needed a pandemic to be able to do that because, um, it was
Right.
tough topics, and
Yes.
um,
And you
I
pulled from
needed,
journals,
yes.
right? Journals
So
and
journals, whatever I'd written in my notes. I have notebooks of stuff.
yes.
So yeah, the stuff everywhere
Because
that
that's
I
what
was,
the sense that I got when I was going through this was like, these are her private thoughts. Like there was
yeah, yeah.
moments where I was like, I felt like I was like, it was just us.
Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
sharing, because, these are
Hmm.
the things, so much of what's in this book, and we're going to get into that in just a second. But so much of what's in it is the stuff that we don't say out loud.
Yeah.
That was like a
Yeah.
big thing for me going
Yeah.
through this. It was like, wow, I've never
Yeah.
said that. I didn't even realize I felt that way until I read
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
and was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's definitely. And now I'm thinking about it like, oh, I
Right.
think I've talked about this like in
Hmm.
code,
Right, right, right.
because
Yeah.
we don't say certain
No,
things.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and those were, I mean, the essay section was the hardest because those are the journal entries. And so,
Yeah.
um, I was like, ooh, and I've been writing those since I was
Mm,
going through postpartum and the boys are
right.
little. And so it's like the span of years because some of them it's like, you can tell the time is older because I'm talking about like maybe toddler, preschooler things.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like I have friends who have toddlers and preschoolers now, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, you're going in because I know I'm not the only one that
No.
has living life with a toddler and preschooler feeling this way.
Right. Right. Well, you gave voice to some inner thoughts for
Yeah.
sure. I was a little like, she telling all our business in here. Like, yeah. It was good though. It was good. It was
Yeah.
good. It was like a good process. So, you know where I want to start in the
Yes.
book. You know where I want to start. So, I open up this book, this beautiful book, get past dedication, and I see this quote from Toni Morrison that
Yeah.
pretty much shifted the game for me. And I just read it or heard it maybe last year.
Mhm.
And I actually mentioned it to someone when we were discussing motherhood and couldn't remember the full thing. And then opening this and seeing it, it was just like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to know.
Yeah.
I have to know one, why you chose. I think I know, but I want you to tell us all why you chose this to really open up the book with. And I mean, I don't want to read it because I want everybody else to read it. I mean, there's some stuff I want to read, but it's a beautiful quote
Yes.
by Toni Morrison. I mean,
Mhm.
do you want to read it? Do you want me
Yeah.
to read it?
You can read it.
Okay. There was something so valuable about what happened when one became a mother. For me, it was the most liberating thing that has ever happened to me. Liberating because the demands that children make are not the demands of the normal other. I could not only be me, whatever that was, but somebody actually needed me to be that. If you listen to your children, somehow you are able to free yourself from baggage and vanity and all sorts of things and deliver a better self, the one you like. The person that was in me that I liked best was the one my children seemed to want. And that's Toni Morrison on motherhood. This this quote has been a game changer for me. So please
Yeah.
tell us why you chose to open the book with
Um,
that.
so when I think about just liberation, and motherhood and just having Toni like explain this in a way that only Toni
Only
can,
Toni.
it
Only
was
Toni.
like all the insecurities that I have about myself aren't because I believe them. And so when I think about how my boys see me and they don't make comments about things that I'll probably make comments about in my head, you know, the things that I fret over. They're not worried about the eyebrows that hadn't, you know, they're
Right.
like, you're beautiful. And resting in those places of how our children see us as their
Mm,
mothers and as women, it really frees us up to run after the things. Like,
yes.
why
Yes.
am I holding on to the opinions of the world and whatever, even my own opinions that have come from where,
Right.
when these people that love me, like they love me for who I am.
Yes.
And that is the person that I also love. And so it's just like
Yes.
this flow of constant love and self love and vulnerability and um, like this reflecting back to one another, of us to our children and our children to us. And so, because so much of this book for me is like this stripping down of like truth and honesty, but also seeing like the beauty in the boys and who they
Mm,
are, and them seeing, you know, my beauty and who I am. It is like this full circle, you know, opening with that and then closing with a picture of
yes.
them. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes,
So
I do.
they're the thread of it all. Um,
Absolutely.
it's just in
Absolutely.
this freedom of being in low and high places on
Hmm.
this journey, but still finding yourself back to you.
Yes.
So,
Yes. And for me, when yes to everything you just said, and sort of that shifting, because motherhood is so much,
mm-hmm.
it feels and it appears to be so restrictive. You know,
Yes,
the whole thing about becoming mothers, which we're going to
yeah,
talk about too, that idea of becoming mothers,
mm-hmm.
there's so much of like I have to give up. There's so much I can't
Right,
do. There's
right,
so
yes,
much, so much. So it's like
yes,
chipping
yes,
away and
yes,
restriction and all this thing. So this idea of it actually being a very liberating
yeah,
thing was a big deal, like such a
yeah,
big deal. And you continuously return to that
mm-hmm.
theme throughout the book, which was just so beautiful. But
Thank
that was
you.
really a big deal. That
Yeah,
that shift out of sort of the thinking that has come to be my own, which I don't even know where that came from,
right,
because
right,
I know that I have my own feelings about not having as much time or sleep
right,
or whatever it is,
yeah,
but I don't know for sure that that was always my thought, and that it
right,
wasn't something that was planted or, projected.
yeah.
So I
And
hear you on that.
and thinking about when you mention restrictive, like I think about, you know, the wild woman that I was before I had kids.
Mm,
And not
mm,
that, you know, I, but even in that, it's like,
oh yeah.
well, now I
Mm.
can't or
Yes.
shouldn't or,
Yes.
you know, whatever. But there's so much of my personality is that woman.
Yes.
Maybe not in behavior like
Right.
partying or hangovers and all of that, but my how I think
Right.
and how I see the world, like it's still very wild in comparison, you know.
Hmm.
And those are the things that they really cling to. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think and how do you see, and you know, and I versus like maybe me at work where it's like I don't
Right.
get to do any
Right.
of that.
Right. And the
So
boys are wild and free
yeah,
and
yeah,
emotional and all of the
exactly.
things, and kind
Mhm.
of that idea of meeting them there
Yeah,
versus this idea that we think we have to be sort
right.
of pulled together and buttoned up
Mhm.
and can't be free to play or free
Yeah.
to live openly and all the things. So
And I've
I
caught
hear you.
myself even like slipping and projecting this boxy
Oh
mentality.
yes.
And they've called me out. They're like, well, why?
Yeah.
Why can't we, you know, well, what's wrong with that? I'm like,
Ah,
well, people, and it was like,
people. People.
and I just had to, you're right.
Yes.
There's no, you know, And it's still this
That's
teaching
beautiful.
of, yeah.
Yes, that's beautiful because then you think about like, okay, when we were little, would you have been able to say that? Because
No.
I most likely would not have. I'm just gonna say, I probably wouldn't have been like, why? To my
Exactly.
grandmother.
No,
You know what I mean?
absolutely
So
not.
already that
Yes.
freedom, that
Yes.
wildness, it's there, it's showing up. Because no, ma'am.
No.
Mm-mm.
My boy's also saying, I was talking first and you keep interrupting me. It's kind of
Word. Mama,
like,
it's my turn to talk. That's what, mama.
like, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good
No, I
though. We're
definitely
doing,
would have gotten a, like, what?
oh, yeah,
Interrupted?
right. Not even finish a sentence. Not even
No.
finish. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. We're gonna keep going. So, okay, so the book is titled In a High Place, Black Motherhood and a Woman Rising.
Mm-hmm.
So I can talk to you about motherhood all the time. Obviously, we both have two boys. That is
Yeah.
just something that we'll always have to talk about. But I want to go to, this is page 37. It's Woman Rising.
Yes.
It's a poem called Woman Rising. And this is my favorite. My favorite. I mean, I don't know though, because I have a couple favorites. Okay. But this feels like the ethos.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, child, alerts about my astrology. Um, just give me a minute. So okay. So I'm gonna. Do you want to read this to me, or you want me to read it to you?
I can
Because
read
I want
it.
to hear it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Woman Rising. She then is still her now. May you stare in the mirror with the same awe and nostalgia, the same joy and longing as you do when you remember her. Find her shape shifting, inspiring, and her wisdom a balm in a time of drought. Embrace her curves and flow. Celebrate her knowing and growth. Though she looks different, she still deserves to be admired because she rises to the occasion of being exactly who she needs to be when life asks her to do so.
Just love that. Tell me what
Um,
it means to be a woman rising. What does it look like for you?
um, admiration, I guess, like I go back to this, though she looks different, she still deserves to be admired. Um, because she rises to the occasion.
Yes.
And I think um, so often, like, just for me, like, struggling with, I grew up and I was like a stick figure, you know.
Child.
Now I got curves.
I'm still waiting on mine.
Like,
I'm still waiting.
I'm like, this we thick out here. And so I'm like, how does this work? How, like, I know y'all want to be thick, but like, I need guidance. Like,
Doesn't matter.
so I've had this moment, like these moments where, especially like during this pandemic, where I was like ran 2 half marathons a couple of years, not like right before the pandemic, and to go to like nothing and not because I'm not interested, but just not, I just don't feel it. It's, it's just this shift in general. And so I've had some moments in the mirror of like, but also, and finding this admiration. So there has been like this self-love journey just in this time in particular, um, where I like that first line, she then is still her now.
Yes.
We think about our bodies changing and through whatever, not may not be, motherhood or it could be stress or, just
Yeah,
life.
illness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and our identity becomes rooted in the look
Yes.
instead of who we are. And so I had this moment of some very long negative self-talk days where I just had to say, she then is still her now.
Mm.
You're still worthy and beautiful, and you deserve to not only receive admiration from afar, but like to give yourself that,
Yes,
you know?
I
Um,
do.
and
I,
yeah, like find her shape shifting, inspiring, like
that's my favorite part.
instead of like,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
You know what this made me think of?
What?
The way that we sort of see age, and even in big
Yes.
shifts like motherhood, or
Yeah.
like, a friend who recently had a hysterectomy, and
Mm-hmm.
those huge changes that make
Yes.
you feel less
Yeah.
than,
Yeah.
when in all actuality, these are things that are creating expansion. You're
Right.
expanding,
Mm-hmm.
you're rising to
Yeah.
this new level of being, this
Yeah.
divine, limitless
Mm-hmm.
existence. And when I read it, I was like, oh, I know who this is. I know, I
Yeah.
see her. It's like you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for her,
Yeah.
and then you can find her in the rising. I love
Yeah.
that piece so much.
So yeah, the striving to be there always,
Yes,
um, on the hard days, on the good days, we're rising, like, yeah,
yes,
we admire
I love it.
her.
I
So
love it.
I
I
love,
love it.
oh, I
I
love this
also
piece.
think of, me too. It makes me also think about what it is to be a healing woman.
Yeah.
Rising and healing feels
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
they're synonymous. So it,
yeah.
it makes me think of what it is to be a healing woman, and then knowing that you are a mother. Like, what does that, how does being a healing woman affect your motherhood? Like, how
Mm.
does that play into your motherhood when you
Yeah.
are a healing woman? This is something I actually talk to my mom friends about quite a lot. So,
Um, I feel like I'm healing alongside teaching and
absolutely.
growing and learning. I don't I don't feel like there's a separate moment where I'm like, I'm healing
Mm-hmm.
now. Please, everyone.
Do not disturb. Healing in
Please.
process. Thank you.
But like, those moments where the boys are reflecting things back to
Yes.
me, and then I have to go within and question, okay, why? What is your why?
Mm,
And what is the root of that? And so now we have to dig that up and marinate on it and heal that place where you feel like that's acceptable or needed for their journey.
yes,
You know what I mean?
I do.
So then that is where like the teaching, so it becomes like this, we're in this
Mm,
parallel alongside one another, um, type of,
yeah.
yeah.
Which feels cool. It feels like a cool
Yeah.
thing to be able
Yeah.
to do with your children.
Versus like feeling like you have to have it all together,
Yeah.
which is what I felt
Yes.
like prior to.
Oh, yes.
So to now be in this space, especially at
Yes.
37, like, I don't know, like people, I had Cole when I was like right before I turned 30, and I was just
Mm,
like, all right, I'm almost 30. I gotta have this
let me get
mom
this
thing
together.
together. And the last like few years has just been like, give myself grace. We're all
Absolutely.
learning together.
Word up.
And that has been like my own little mantra. Like, they're learning this world, which is
Mm,
just so much. And even though I feel like I need to teach them all the things about everything,
Yes.
They just need to know what they need to know right here. And same for me. Like, I just
Mm,
need to heal right here where I'm
yes.
at. And so it adds like this layer and this level of graciousness to just be and grow and love
Mm,
and kind of inhale moments
yes.
that this rush to like, gotta have it together, gotta be able to be all that I need to be in order to be everything that they need me to be.
Yes,
It's like,
yes, yes, like
girl,
endless. And then the healing that
we're
exists in
out.
even just having that perspective. Because imagine
Yeah,
if our mothers would have
yeah.
been able to give themselves that kind of grace,
Mm-hmm.
or our
Yeah.
grandmothers, you know? So
Yes.
even just having the presence of mind to be able to see it that way feels like healing
Yes.
to me,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're already doing it, friend. You're already doing it. Okay, so this actually brings me to the piece that completely rocked me a little bit. I had to read it multiple times and then sit with it.
Ooh.
Yes. Which is fear, the
The
thief of
essay.
life's
Mm,
best moments. This was a big
fear.
one
Yeah.
because mama knows fear.
Yes.
We know each other intimately. But okay, so in this piece, you discuss many things.
Yes.
But so one of the things was this part. I'm just going to read this little part. Not having my father around became the breeding ground for a void I would try to desperately fill in all the wrong places. My fear of having children, once I searched for the root of it, boiled down to this battle. Let me tell you something. This part, I had never considered that. You go on to say, we don't talk about the part of postpartum where mothers experience intrusive, scary thoughts. I didn't know it had a name, but they don't ask you that question regarding postpartum depression symptoms when you go in for your 6-week appointment. I was afraid to speak optimistically, to tell anyone what I was feeling, afraid to do certain things, afraid of how disconnected I felt, afraid of my level of uncertainty, afraid of dying. I have never in my existence, in my almost 40 years, seen anyone else say that, and yet, same.
Yeah.
So that felt like, one, I always feel like it feels a little cliche to say we're proud of our friends, but because we're peers. But I'm so proud of you for writing that,
Thank
because
you.
that I didn't even realize that that was something I had felt and not spoken
Mm-hmm.
until I read it in here. And I cannot imagine what that will be like for some even further
Yes.
away from the knowing to read
Yeah.
that and be like, oh, snap. Like that's,
Yeah.
so first I want to dissect this fatherless daughters having
Mm-hmm.
boys
Mm.
and what that is like. Tell us how that informs your motherhood and your writing, because same.
I do feel like um I was more afraid to have a daughter for this. So I spent
Who are you
a
telling?
lot of
Yes.
the early years of our marriage really projecting this fear
Mm,
and trying to sabotage my marriage.
mm.
That's a whole separate
It's the next book. That's the
discussion.
next book.
But because of
I'll write the
that,
forward for
I
that
was
book. Because let me tell you.
was like terrified in within that to have children
Mm,
because I didn't want my husband, my partner, to walk out or decide, have that freedom
yeah.
to decide that
Mm-hmm,
he
mm-hmm.
wasn't going to or whatever. Um, and that so in instead of like in like having boys, I don't know, there's a shift of like a connection to them where I'm not afraid of that thing, you
Mm,
know?
Yeah.
then it just rises up other fears,
Right.
like
Yes.
where we can talk about like the politics of this country and how Black men are perceived. Like that's a whole
Oh, yes.
section in itself.
Yes.
But having them, and I don't know, it almost feels like God replenished this time of like this unconditional love that I desired in my dad
Mm-hmm.
that I
Mm-hmm.
now receive from my boys, um, and how they see me. And not like I know my dad loved me
Mm-hmm.
because he had written me letters saying such, but not having him in my life and
Mm-hmm.
present, and for whatever reason, um, that void of just seeing men and guys in this light,
Mm-hmm.
um, made it hard for this interpersonal relationship of like trying to be married and
Yes.
like dating and those things. But to have boys,
Oh,
there is
yes.
like, it feels like just a whole full circle God moment of like giving this
Absolutely.
love back to me that I
Absolutely.
desired in like male form.
I do. I'm looking for, there's just one line and I'm like, oh, I can't find it because I have so many sticky notes. But there's a part that you say where you say something about being chosen. Um, oh, where is it? I'm gonna find it because that connected back to this
Oh
other
yeah.
thing that I had read that I read here, which was basically, I don't want to get it wrong because you said it so beautifully, but about your boys choosing you
Oh
before
yes,
you
before I ever
knew
knew
you
I
deserved to
deserved to
be
be.
chosen.
Mhm.
And that kind of comes back to that for me because
Yeah.
that was what I sort of got from that was like
Mhm.
this the wound from my father felt a lot like choice.
Yes.
Like, why wasn't I worth choosing? Now that I'm in a position to choose, how could you not
Yes.
choose me
Yes.
over whatever demon or
Yeah.
whatever? And that's
Right.
that wound. And then to be chosen by these magical
Yeah.
little balls of light
Mhm.
who want to call you mama and just want to spend time with you
Yeah.
is a deeply healing experience
Yeah.
for us fatherless daughters.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that's why we were sent our sons.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I tell the boys all the time, like, um, we in this timeline, because I'm
Yes,
obsessed with Loki.
obviously.
Oh,
Obviously.
we talk about Marvel, like our Marvel
Oh,
obsession.
I ride hard for Loki.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this timeline,
Yeah.
we were chosen to be together.
Yes.
Like this had to have been our destiny for so many different reasons. And that being, you know, I needed that. I
Yes.
needed to be chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, only you could have chosen me, you know,
Yeah.
and only I guess, could have been the one chosen to be with you on your journey.
Right.
Um, but they get all teary eyed. They be like, "Mommy, that's so cool." But
It
that's
is so
truly how
cool.
I like
Yeah.
see and think about life, because I don't believe in coincidence.
No.
I believe everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And for, whether it's like to teach us or to grow us, or like going back to don't curse the journey for what it gave you,
Yes.
because what it's giving you is something that like is necessary,
Mm-hmm.
whether you can see it now or whatever.
Right.
um but they were necessary for me, even when I was like, no, cursing my
Right.
own journey. I don't want
Word.
no to this idea of being a mother.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
So perfect. Thank you for that, because that brings me, I'm like looking at the time. I'm like, okay, how do I get this in?
Oh my
I know, I know.
God!
Forget
No.
it. We're just gonna forget it. Just gonna forget.
It's not gone that fast.
So that you saying that makes me think of I have it in my notes. Was it Homebound? I think it was Homebound. Yes. So Homebound is where you talk about being a stay-at-home mom
Mm-hmm.
for a bit, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this felt very relevant because
Yes.
many women
Yes.
have walked into stay-at-home momness in this
Mm-hmm.
last year and a
Yeah.
half, 2 years almost,
Yeah.
and then there's the existing stay-at-home moms, but that preconceived notion that we
Right.
have
Yes.
growing up, us
Mm-hmm.
latchkey kids,
Yes.
single mom kids, moms who
Yeah.
always worked,
Mm-hmm.
where we look at stay-at-home moms a certain type of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And so we find ourselves choosing it in that, like, that struggle that comes
Right.
with that, of like, how
Right.
do we, do that? So how, when you had your 2 years of stay-at-home momness, how did that change your motherhood? And then how did you sort of reconcile your womanhood in that moment? I'm going to
Ooh.
find the thing while you answer
Ooh.
that, because there was something you wrote where I was like, yes.
Yeah. Um, so how it shaped my motherhood, I definitely felt so I stayed home with Cole. I didn't stay home with Trey.
Right.
So, there is this like this connection that I gained with him. And then like it's just so many levels, like how God just aligns things. He's my rainbow baby. And
Mm-hmm.
so in a time where now I'm healing from the grief I never grieved, or the loss I never grieved and never
Right.
had gave myself that space. But at the same time, going back into that timeline
Yes.
where I was staying at home, that space and time where I had that ability to really like love and pour in and dig from places where, because
Mm.
also after that pregnancy was just like with him, I was very paranoid.
Yes.
I didn't feel joy in any of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like, get me to the weeks where this baby will be
Yes.
viable.
Yes.
Like
Yes. I
there's
do.
no
I do.
like,
Yes.
it was just an anxious 9 months.
Yes.
And then when he arrived, and then we had like a little scare which didn't help in like January.
Right.
And so he was born in May. And so then from January to May, I was like on
Mm.
high alert, like, oh my God, I can't.
Mm.
And then through delivery, you're like,
Right.
okay, I
Yes.
know we're here, but
Yes.
like maternal health, like, are we
There it
gonna?
is.
And only for him to come out, and it just felt like, I don't know, like I couldn't connect. I'm like,
It
oh
wasn't
my
like the
God, she
movies.
booked. No, I
Yep.
was like, oh, you live. Like it
Yes.
was so
Yes. Like, oh, great. Okay, I
painful,
did the
but
thing.
yes,
Yes.
but there was just like this weird disconnection,
Hmm.
you know?
Yes.
Um,
Which is
I
heartbreaking in its
yes,
own way,
yeah,
because of the preconceived thing
yes,
that we're supposed to fall in love
right,
immediately. Yes.
yeah, and
Hmm.
so that was just hard for me to deal with. Um,
Hmm.
I love like I just remember like, oh my God, he's so cute, and there's like this, but this I just didn't feel like when I had Trey, it was like this, this
Yeah.
emotional
Yeah.
type of moment. And for the second time around, it was like more of a phew,
Right.
okay,
Right.
and there it's hard to, what moments in life do you really feel connected to when it's like the
Yes,
moments
right.
versus
When you're
like this
bound up in the fear.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So having that time with him, I really feel like allowed me to build this connection that I was just like struggling to,
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
what is it? And what is this thing called? And no one was talking.
No
How do
one.
you even share this, right? Like,
Right. That's
oh
the
my God, you
thing.
just had a baby. Congratulations. I know you're so excited.
Right.
Oh, you're supposed to
You're
be
like,
so proud. And you're like,
yes. And you're like, oh, am I
um,
supposed to be excited? So then what's broken about me because
like,
I'm not
yeah,
excited?
yeah. So I'm like,
Yes.
so
Yes.
who
And
am
then
I
how
telling
can
this
that person be a good mother if
to?
she's not excited?
That part.
That part.
And then I
That
mentioned
part.
this, and then what happened?
And then what? They're gonna come take my babies away. That's what's gonna
Exactly.
happen. Yes.
Exactly. So
Yes.
there's just like, nope, hold that and put it
Yeah.
in the
Hmm.
journal
Yes.
and
But
just
here it is.
tuck it away. Yes.
But you let it out. And
Yes.
then that made me realize it because, I've had my own, my mom was just working
Mm-hmm.
all the time. Couldn't come to the plays or the potlucks or
Yeah.
any of the stuff,
Mm-hmm.
just worked all the time. She worked far away. And so I feel like there's a part of me that chose stay at home momness
Mm-hmm.
in order to heal that because I always wanted her around. And then,
Yeah.
you have a few terrible awfuls happen and you wonder, is that because my mom wasn't around more? Is it
Right.
because she wasn't present? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I didn't, my father and blah. And so all of this, the way that we think about the women who make the choices, whether
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
staying at home or
Mm-hmm.
it's in the workforce, it's wild how it comes
Yeah.
up in our own mothering. You don't even realize it. You don't
Yeah.
even realize you've been doing that your entire life because
Mm-hmm.
part of being a strong woman, which is what I had aspired to be, was
Right.
that you could work and
Mm-hmm.
mother
Yeah.
and be a good partner
Yeah.
and be a fun friend and all the things and still look cute
Yeah.
and all the stuff. And you get here and you're like, I could do maybe two.
Right. Exactly. I was
Yeah.
saying just hearing that list is like,
Right.
mm.
Today I might hit one. I don't know.
Right.
But it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So this was a great exploration of that I appreciated because I didn't even realize that I was carrying some of that
Mm-hmm.
still and how it shows up.
And
This was
even I was I think the second part of what your question, um, realizing like how my perception of women around me,
mm,
um, and having to deal with that. Like, wait a minute, girl, you out here like women empower
yes.
women.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
go, ladies. But
Right.
we
Yeah.
have this underlying like think you
Mhm.
better than thing that you need to snatch that. We got to dig that out. Like, what is that?
Right. Like
And
here I am a womanist and all of a
right.
sudden I become a mother and I'm like, there's a lot of patriarchy in me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoops. Yes.
So, um, yeah, that was hard for me,
Mm,
especially like identifying myself as a woman, like power to the women, we can,
mm-hmm.
but realizing that I had these like underlying side eyes
Oh yes.
at women who stayed home, like
Yes.
you stay
Yes.
home
Yes.
and
And me,
mother.
oh, what mother, do
Right.
you?
Like, surely.
Right. My thing, so this was my thing. I was very loud and proudly adamant that I don't want any help. I don't want anybody raising
Yeah.
my babies.
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
anybody raising my babies but me. And now I'm like, how do I get a sister wife? I want live-in help. I want somebody who lives here. I just want to duplicate myself.
Yeah.
Any help. I'll take help from my neighbors are like
Yes.
these two little old ladies. they bring something over and I'm like, thank you.
Yes.
Like, thank you so much. I'm like, I'll take every bit of help.
Yes.
But that was me before
Yes.
motherhood. I was like, no. And even probably that first year of
Right. Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
no, I'm doing all the things. Thank you. This is my
Yeah.
child. I will
Mm-hmm.
feed him. I know what's best for him. I am all knowing.
Yes.
This is, and now
I
I'm
got
like,
it.
anyone want to be a sister
Yes.
wife? Yes.
Yes.
Do you like to cook? Yeah.
I know nothing. Help
Yes.
me.
Help me,
This is me
please.
like every week to my friends who have like 11 and 12-year-olds. I'm like,
Oh,
help. I don't know what I'm
oh my gosh. My
Teach
friend,
me your ways.
word.
Yeah.
My friend has Ashley. Her son is 9. Is he 9? Is he 9, Ashley? 8 or 9. But I'm like, it's like she's like the Buddha. I'm like, so wait, when did your son's underarms start to smell? Is this
Yeah.
normal?
Right.
Because this feels young. Is it young?
Yes.
She's like,
But it is
no.
young. Whatever you're
It's-
thinking, I thought so too. I'm just like, Tom's
And I don't
good.
know.
We're gonna have to get started because
Right. Right. We'll do
this
the
is
natural
stressful.
deodorant. Yeah. I'm like, I hit up my sister. My sister has kids that are, both of her kids are 2 years older than my kids.
Oh,
So
mm-hmm.
it's like a perfect little,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
tell me what to do.
Yes.
Will you move here? Like all the
Right.
things.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Now I'm like, help. Anyone help? Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
Please help
Anyone.
me. Yes. So, okay. So one of the, let's move into, because you just mentioned too, the healing after a loss and your rainbow baby,
Mm-hmm.
your magical rainbow baby. So there's a piece, another one, a favorite. I mean, there's so many favorites. Not all these are questions, they're just favorites that I just want you to read. But we're already at time, but I'm just gonna keep going. Is that okay? And
Yeah.
we'll wrap up. Okay.
Okay.
We'll wrap up. We're gonna wrap up at some point.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually, guys.
So this piece
Hang
is
with us.
called Abandoned on page 96. And it's this short, beautiful nugget. It says,
Mm.
miscarriages don't leave you the way pregnancy found you. Your heart forever yearns for a rhythm it will never feel. That right there was like, that just made me think of that hollow feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, miscarriage was a theme in this book, something that
Mm-hmm.
you had to process and work through in this book, which was very brave and very honest and vulnerable. And you covered all the things, like
Yeah.
really, truly, in a way that I just haven't seen.
Yeah.
And especially for us, seeing ourselves talk about that is such a huge deal,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
in our community, I feel like in our community especially, it's like a failure you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about, or that you're expected to heal faster
Yeah.
in order to
Yeah.
resume your place
Mm-hmm.
as the strong,
Right.
Black woman who is continuing to be the backbone of the family and all of the
Yeah.
things, and really just like taking the space and time to work through that was really beautiful to read. And I appreciate you sharing all of that,
Thank you.
because it is quite the thing to recover from.
Yeah.
So I would, it felt like an offering, that will help others heal. But how did writing through that help you heal?
I'm still healing.
Yes.
Um, I had recently shared a post on here where I talked about like a few weeks ago, probably like a month ago then. In therapy, I just had like this breakdown about like this grief of the loss and how frustrating it is to continue to revisit this place. It's like,
We're still
let's wrap
here.
this up.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Why are we and so that's why I call this the book that helps me heal.
Mm.
Because it's still going on.
Yes.
Especially that part. It's still very fresh. Like these are the very first times that I've talked about my postpartum anxiety and intrusive thoughts.
Mm,
In that fear piece, I've
yes.
never shared that with anyone. So it's like, oh my God, like looking at how many people have ordered. I'm like, people are texting me that they're seeing
It's
like,
like, all
what
right,
part are you on? How far into the
127
book are
people. Show all my secrets. We go
you? Like,
together.
okay.
Yes.
Because it's like, and usually like a lot of stuff I've walked through and processed and then I share. I've never shared anything in it.
Mm,
Like, and so I still feel very much in it. Um, Especially in a lot of these like section 4 pieces.
yes.
A lot of those are the more recent things I've written. Um, like, and then some of them like within the last 2 years. Some of them I squeezed in like a few months before the book came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Oh, I'm sure.
I need this in here,
Yes.
but I need brain. Calm down. Like, girl, are we
Mm-hmm.
gonna put the book out or not? Like, we
I
just gonna like add a
completely
few.
understand.
So, like,
Yes.
so yeah, like it's very like right now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm still there. I'm still navigating it. So I might be further along than what I'm giving myself credit
Mm,
for, you know?
I would
Um,
suspect that.
yeah, but I
Yeah.
guess I just the crying and the dreaming about all of this is new. In like 6 years, none of this has
Oh,
occurred. And so now we are. So
oh
I'm
my gosh.
like,
The Olivia reference.
yeah,
Oh, see, I'm
yeah,
trying to avoid getting into a color purple hole, but that
yeah,
just, yeah,
yeah,
my heart, Olivia. I literally just wrote, it just says Olivia on the page.
yeah,
Because that's just, that was such a gut-wrenching part of that movie.
yeah, yes,
And and really just thinking about, I don't connect that kind of loss to a miscarriage loss.
yeah,
And even just seeing that name and that piece, everyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I have it written down. Olivia. It's she mine on
she
110. And that piece, just seeing the name and then making that connection
yeah,
to Celie and that loss,
mm-hmm,
and then those that have experienced loss and miscarriage, just that kind of clicking down for me
yeah,
was a big deal, especially because the connection to the color purple. Now it's just
yeah,
a beautiful way to tie that in and honor
yeah,
that story too.
yeah. I think about that how Celie, the franticness in the movie specifically
Mm,
of how she's like, just
knows that's her
this
baby.
frantic, like I just know, and I'm like hiding behind because I gotta see, and I'm sure it is.
Mm,
That that is the feeling that appears in my dreams
oh,
when I'm seeing people in the dreams. I'm like seeing people with the baby, and I'm like, I know, like I know that's,
no.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the hardest part of all of this.
I'm
Like
sure.
processing that in this time.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, so that piece is pretty recent. but I couldn't like get, especially after having those dreams, that was the only thing that I could like attach, like connect to,
Yes.
like how I feel in these dreams. This piece is the only way for me to like get that out in a way
Yeah.
that could explain it, you know. So
I
you guys
didn't
have
know that
not
those
seen
are
The
the
Color
most
Purple.
recent. Oh my God, you have not seen The Color Purple. Why are you here?
What are you doing?
You need to come back and watch this later
I
and
did
just
a whole
go.
like birthday
What?
post about it.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
it's just the best. It's just the best.
but yeah, so that is a recent piece, and yeah.
What other pieces are more recent?
The ones in the back, Broken Grass, another one,
So
the
good.
last piece,
Yes.
um,
So good.
from a dream that I had, which is in higher realms where night dances.
What about As?
And oh, I think As is recent because
Okay.
I probably last year when I was listening to Stevie Wonder's As. And even though like his lyrics and this piece don't, but that just his voice, I don't know, for whatever reason that song. But yeah, I like As.
Yes. Okay, so wait. It's so I just want I just have to say.
And
So
it's like, girl, of course you like It's Your Book, but no, guys, like really.
no, it's just great. There are real favorites in here. Like, okay, wait. Really quick, because then we're gonna come back to this because I just wanted to say one thing. But Made by a Black Woman is bars. That's what I wrote on the page. Bars. This is all bars. So if you want to hear Caneeka spit, go to page 39. Because I don't, it was just something about, I was like, oh, I can see you doing this in like an open mic.
Yeah, you know, that was written
so
on the rising.
I feel like I can pinpoint the day that was written. Yes.
Yes, this is definitely a 2020 piece.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it so much. I have so many favorites. Oh, the moon. What is it? The moon. She's the moon. The moon. What is that one? That's another favorite. Y'all just bear with me because this is just me being able to talk to my friend about her book. I've stopped thinking about y'all.
Moonlight. Is it Moonlight?
I'm looking for it.
I have so many moon pieces.
Because it's the moon.
Yeah, no.
Oh, Overflow. Overflow's so good. It's just such a sweet favorite. Oh, okay. I can't find it. I'm never going to find it. It's one
Naked
of my
Moon?
stickies. Yes. That's the one. I love that.
I like Naked Moon.
I like that a lot. That was good.
I have
that
to
was
tell
some
you
stuff.
offline. Yeah.
Offline. There's a story there that I want to know about.
Yes, it's probably not for Instagram.
Yeah, I hear you. I picked up on that. That's why it's my favorite.
Like a grown piece. You know, I had to throw something in for the grown folks.
Yes.
So that's
I
why
appreciate that.
Don't read Naked Moon to your children
Yes,
as like a
that's
bedtime story.
No, that is not for dinner devotionals.
No.
That is for after bedtime.
Read, yes. Maybe with your boo or yourself.
Maybe. Or by yourself.
By yourself.
And that's all we're going to say. That's it. We're going to wrap that up. Look at. Baby, yeah, you know.
Listen, yes.
That's
Alicia
a grown woman right there.
Is my moon friend. So she knows. She'll be hopping on tomorrow, so I'll have to give her the offline explanation.
Okay, I'm just gonna, I know we have to wrap up, but okay, just me and the moon. Yes, okay. I have like a whole nother page of things, but you know what? Okay. I have to
Oh,
just,
rugged,
I have
cross,
to
and
let go.
uneasy. Those are two pieces that I wrote in the last few months.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Okay, so one thing I
yeah.
just want to come back to is that these dreams are very interesting to me because it seems as though you are conjuring them, possibly, with your writing, so that
Mm,
you could catch a glimpse of your
mm-hmm.
baby girl.
See, and it's so crazy you say that because I, I try so hard not to think about it.
I don't know, friend. I don't know.
And I feel like it's working in the opposite way.
I think you're being
But
called.
yes,
I think you're
now
being called.
that I
Hmm.
do feel
Yeah.
because usually when I dream, I don't wake up frustrated, and those I get really frustrated because I wake up hurting.
Yeah.
And it's one thing to like dream and like I'll have dreams about people and my friends that are in here who are like, do not dream about me, please.
Right.
Like they
Those are my
know, they've
friends.
heard
Yep.
stories,
Hmm.
they've
Yep.
experienced. They're
We
like,
the same.
no, no,
Hmm.
that's something different. That ain't you ain't dreaming about Jay-Z and y'all like it's not the pizza you ate.
Yep.
Like this is some like the Lord is doing a thing and I want no
Yes.
parts. Like
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so it like to have that like just this as a gift being a dreamer in a way that God speaks to me
Mm.
and to wake up and see things in the night that I pray and intercede and cover people from what God shows me through dreams.
Hmm.
So to then have this happening so often, I'm like,
Yeah.
no, when it's other people, okay,
Right.
okay, this
Yes.
this is a lot.
Hmm.
What are we doing? And so, yeah, it's really hard. I'm like, so I try to like, like I'm not even thinking about these things, but
Mm.
what what you I don't know. So that is why I'm just like, let me write and
Yeah.
put it in here because that is the only way that I can like not resolve, but like really get
Yes.
out. And then it helps me to read it back,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Hmm. Yes.
Because it's
I feel
like
like
this is
some, no, go
like
ahead.
what I'm thinking and what I
Hmm.
feel and what I saw, but I and then I don't want to lose it,
Yeah.
you know?
I feel like sometimes spirit, even if it seems as though a place we are supposed to swiftly move away from or
Mm-hmm.
beyond or move forward, don't stay in the past, blah, blah, blah. I feel like sometimes spirit is calling us and saying, stay here with
Yeah.
me in this moment and play for a
Yeah.
while,
Yeah.
and let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
And I feel like and I'm seeing, what happens.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. This dream was the dreaming is very interesting to me, especially that it's happening recently.
Yeah.
After you doing the processing and putting this
Yeah.
together, and it's like, hey, don't leave me out. I want
Yeah.
to come too. I want to play too.
Yeah. Because
So yeah,
it was just like, that what was it? The miscarriage piece that you read that I wrote like right after it
mm,
happened. So it was just like that was as much as I could describe, like we especially the part of like miscarriages don't leave you the way pregnancy found you.
yes,
Um in pregnant and like becoming pregnant, there's this like welcoming and like excitement and people are like, yes,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
oh my gosh, I'm so
yeah.
and
And
then
there's
when
ritual.
yes,
There's ritual around it.
yeah. But then when it's like loss, you're not the same, but no one knows.
No, and there's no ritual.
Yeah.
There's no one coming, bringing
Yeah.
food or asking
Yeah.
how they can help or any of the
Yeah.
things. It's just like
Right.
quiet, silent thing
Mm-hmm.
that, we're meant to, or think that we're meant to
Yeah.
carry alone, process alone, versus when you have a baby, when you
Yeah.
produce the baby, then it's like build community and
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
the things and, everybody come over and let's have a sip and see and all the things. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
what happens
Yeah.
when there is no
No. Mm-hmm.
baby, but there was
Right.
a something?
Right.
And like, where's the ritual for that?
And the support.
And
Yeah.
the support and the community
Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hear
But
you.
in going back to, what you said earlier about it being something that we don't talk about, we don't. And so we almost like cut off our connection that we
Hmm.
need.
Yes.
And maybe because we think we don't need connection for that because there is no baby. So it's like this
Right,
cycle of like,
right. Or we don't deserve it because
yes,
we
we
didn't
don't.
do the
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
which is brutal.
Yeah.
It really is. It's quite brutal
Yeah.
to think that
Yeah.
we wouldn't deserve the same kind of support because we weren't able to produce the baby.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
something something doesn't feel
Mhm.
aligned with that thinking. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's you did a
That's
good
good.
thing. You
Thank
did a good thing here.
you.
You really did. I'm not gonna
Thank
keep you
you.
forever just gushing.
No, what is
Look at this pretty
time?
baby. Look at this pretty baby.
I realized that I didn't put a title, y'all.
We just guerrilla styled it. That's what we did. We got on
I
here.
Hannah thing.
Writing books is gritty. Yeah. Yeah.
I
You
am
gotta just
so
get in.
sorry. There's welcome to In a
Mm-hmm.
High Place, Black Motherhood and a Woman
Yes.
Rising discussion with Caneeka Miller and Tiffany Rose. We are so happy to have
Yes.
you and that you guys joined us for this
Go
discussion.
get this book. Go get this book.
Please. It's on Amazon.
Yes. Find her on the
I'm
internet. She's a beautiful
sure
baby.
there is someone in your life, you, neighbor,
Mm-hmm.
cousin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
There's so much, and just beyond. What's really interesting is that this is the kinds of book
thank you.
that I wish we don't need no titles for you. Thank you, Morgan. That's Reverend right there. That's
Yes.
a Reverend. We so you know what this was. Thank you.
Thank
I agree.
you.
Um, this would be a beautiful book for a woman, not only like an existing mother, but a woman entering motherhood to kind
Yeah.
of familiarize yourself with the
Mm-hmm.
really real and the truly beautiful, and so much of the things we don't talk about until it's
Yeah.
happening or after the fact is in this book, and it's so
Yeah.
beautifully written that it's a nice gentle introduction
Mm-hmm.
into what it is to be a mother, and especially what it is to be a Black mother, a mother of Black children,
Yeah.
and how to hold on to your womanhood at
Yeah.
the same time, what
Yeah.
that looks like and how important it is.
Yeah.
And in those who are, I feel like, I don't know if you feel this way. This might be an offline question, but I don't know if you feel this way. But like, I feel like the women who are raising girls or soon to
Mm-hmm.
be women get to kind of like raise their womanist feminism flags and
Yeah.
do all the things, and
Yeah.
and it's sort of like a murky place for those of us raising
Yeah.
boys, soon
Yeah.
to be men,
Yeah.
where we don't necessarily, fly that same flag
Mm-hmm.
because it's different for them. But then at the same time, we want them to understand all the
Yes.
same
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that I got to explore within
Yeah.
myself in reading this book,
Yeah.
where it was like, you do a beautiful job of sort of continuously coming back
Mm-hmm.
to what
Yeah.
it is
To
to still be a
mm-hmm.
woman, even while raising boys, even while being a
Yeah.
mother, and while navigating the very, very complicated path
Mm-hmm.
of Black motherhood,
Yeah.
particularly. And that feels like a very, very generous offering, and
Thank you.
just a beautiful piece to put out in the world, because it really, we're feeling beings, and we process. And this
Yeah.
book was like, I mean, I think a lot. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Pisces, so I think
We're
and
water
cry.
signs.
Water. I'm
So,
all about the
yes,
big
Cancer.
feels, all the
Yeah.
things,
So,
all the things. And there was a lot of like, oh my God, I never even thought about that. Like thinking that happened for me in this book, really like my own processing. I'll just leave it at
yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
it's really just such a beautiful gift.
Thank
And I
you.
encourage everyone who has considered the path of motherhood or is on the path of motherhood and rising into your womanhood to go
Mm-hmm.
get this beautiful
Yeah.
baby, because it is
Yeah.
beautiful.
Check it out. I love what you said about, like the layers of like raising boys. Um, because back to like Wild Woman, I was like college hardcore
Yes.
feminist, like
Yeah. You
and
can't put me
so
in a
like
cage.
yeah.
Like,
So trying to
yes.
teach that,
Mhm.
but to boys with but also what everything else that they need to learn about like growing up into manhood. Um,
While still
and then
fighting the
the
toxic.
world.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's a complicated journey, and we need more
Yeah.
books where people are exploring them,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
wow, especially if you're, I talked to my friend Ashley, who's on here, Ashley Simple. We've talked about the very specific journey of what it is to raise boys when you are a woman healing from like
Mm-hmm.
the hurt of a man,
Oh,
and,
mm-hmm.
then how that, whether that's having an absent father
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
some sort of violence,
Mm-hmm.
it's a large spectrum.
Yeah.
And how that shows up when you find yourself mothering boys who will soon be
Yeah.
men,
Yeah.
and how that healing shows up
Yeah.
in that, like how we were talking about before at the beginning. Those of you who missed that, you should definitely go back to the beginning because it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But that time where it's like, I'm now recognizing that the healing is happening in my, raising these little humans.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, another something that I didn't get to talk about, how you raise your boys as humans. Y'all
Yes.
go in there and find that, because it's good. It's a good
Yes.
parenting mantra
Yes.
to always
It's
go
called
back to.
parenting philosophy.
Yeah, that's,
I don't know
I,
the page numbers, but
see, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. I'm like,
I
oh,
just
that was
know the
another
pieces.
favorite.
Oh, I found it, page 32. So,
32. Oh, see, it was so good. It's so good, this parenting
yeah.
philosophy, that we treat our children like humans so they
Hmm.
grow up to recognize themselves as that, and then expect
Yeah.
that. And,
Yeah.
and what is it? Not a request, not expect, but command it in
Yeah.
the rooms that they're in when we treat them
Yeah.
that way. I just love that. But
Yeah.
so what it is to raise boys when you're healing from whatever sort of
Hmm.
hurt or trauma, what it is from a man. And I feel like for me, one of the really cool parts of being a mother of boys is that I've gotten to see, and this has shown up in my partnering too, but I've gotten to see that my boys are versions of these men that then met the world
Yeah.
and got, whatever it was about them stripped away, or packed on some baggage, or hurt over and
Yeah.
over, disappointed over and over.
Yeah.
And then they turn into whatever they turn into, or whatever gets
Hmm.
piled on top of them. And I see my boys, and they're deeply emotional and sensitive,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so kind and open and
Hmm.
loving.
Yeah.
And and it's just this, it's a version that I never saw. And suddenly
Yeah.
being able to see men as boys.
Yes.
And like that, like,
Yes.
it's really been transformative. So,
And that, like, that part is where I have to reel in my fear and anxiety, because then it's like, I don't want the world, I don't want to cry, but I don't want the
mm-hmm.
world to snatch this from you,
Mm.
you know,
Yes, I do.
because the world deserves this version of you
Yes,
all the way through.
yes,
And so I have to like reel it in and not like pre-plan negative
mm.
whatever.
Yes. And that
Um,
fierce protection to want to
right.
protect it and keep
Yeah.
them that way as long as
Yeah.
possible. And oh, I hear
Yeah.
you.
Like,
I
can
hear you.
you learn about the world and navigate it and still maintain your
Yes,
kindness and
yes,
love?
yes.
It's like, you know, oh, like, I'm striving for that every day. These people are crazy out here. I'm like,
Word,
I at
word.
times y'all be testing me.
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you people? But you know, like, how how do I maintain that? And like,
Yes,
okay, is this something that I can teach, and how do you teach that?
yes,
Um, so yeah, like that becomes
yeah,
like the, that line where it's like, Lord, help me continue to be, like the best mother that they need me to be. I don't want to, and there are themes of like this idea of like perfection. Like, I don't want
yes,
to
yes,
dive off into that, because that is going to lead to disappointment. So, however they meet me in this journey that you have outlined for them,
mm,
let me rise to that and
yes.
be that for them. So, yeah.
Well, you're doing it.
Yes.
You're doing it. And you wrote a
Thank
whole
you.
book while doing it. So, I mean,
Yes.
you're basically a Marvel character at this point. Like, I'm just so, so happy for you because,
Thank you.
I know
Yes.
this process is not for the faint of heart,
No.
especially in this
No.
last
No.
3,000 years in this pandemic. This has
That
been,
no.
so
No. It's
I'm just,
like all of these moving parts. And my therapist told me in our last session, she was like, a year ago, you were just bound with fear.
mm,
Like you couldn't even fathom. I couldn't even write.
yes. Oh, yes.
Like the pieces that I had written, like during the summer of 2020, by the time I got to the fall, I was like, I
Oh,
have
yes.
nothing. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know if I want to. Am I a writer? What am I? Like, what?
What am I doing? What am I
What
doing
is
here? What
this?
am I doing?
I'm like wasting stuff. Whose time am I wasting? Like, God gave
Right.
me this gift. Is it like I was just in a
Yes.
hot mess place,
Yes. Yes.
And she was like you now a year later, and it is just, I've just continued to think about that, how we think healing is like this, I don't know, like Mario Brothers, like
Yeah.
video game,
You like level
box
up.
punch, and it's like, look at what you did. But it's like, it's truly this thing that you don't recognize or realize until, like something like this, like the thing that I didn't even remember saying those things to her.
Yes.
I mean, I wrote them in my journal, like,
Right.
I'm never gonna write again. But
What am
those,
I
like,
doing?
yes.
Yes. Yes.
But not to revisit, like, I didn't go back and read any of that stuff, but hearing her say it is like, oh, yeah, I was, wow. And she's like, and look, like, you did it.
A
And,
whole book. A whole book.
and So it's just,
By the way, Judah saw this and he was like, wait, did your friend write this book? And I was like, yeah. He's like, the whole book? And I'm like, yeah, right? Isn't that amazing? It's like, oh, that's amazing. They also think you're really pretty, so
oh, thank
just
you.
FYI. You care
Yeah,
what a 4.5 and
Coley,
a 7-year-old say.
the boys saw it like Trey's ready to write like 5 books. He has like 3 versions. He's like 3 parts fantasy. Cole is really into like medieval swords and
Yes.
killing, and I'm just like, I don't know. Is there another
Oh my God. I did that
other
with
type of
Judah.
writing you like?
I did that with Judah. Same thing. I'm like, why are monsters and dragons and like everyone's trying to win and you have to kill to win and like what's happening? And he's like, and he looked over at me once. Y'all, we're not even thinking about y'all anymore. This is just me and her. I'm sorry. But like, but he's like, Mama, my friends at school also write about monsters and things. It's okay. And I was like, thank you. Because I was scared.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The end of Cole is like chapter 1 is like, and they died a painful death to be continued. I'm like,
To be continued.
is
They
anyone
love
gonna
doing
be a
that.
poet?
Where? Do you
Like,
want to write about some butterflies?
this
Please.
is
Yes.
I mean, I write about deep stuff, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you should be writing this at school
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't
Same.
know.
Just let him
Teachers
write. Just let him
calling
write.
like, what's happening?
Just
So
let him write,
yeah,
Mama.
they love it. Like every time they saw the books come in, and they were just like, and Trey's like 5th grade, so just now really learning about poetry, and
Yeah.
so I'm interested. Like they think, of course, like your introduction into poetry is like the very rhyming
Yes.
stanzas, and so
Yeah.
that Cully was like, "Oh, what is it about?" I was like, "No, it's not for children. Give me
No.
that."
You know what? Let me read it. Let me read it to you. Let me read it.
So I did read them, Trey and Coley,
Oh,
and
good.
they were like, oh, our name. Like they were very excited to see their
Oh,
nicknames
yay.
and their picture, and they think that is really cool. But that
It's
is
so
it.
cool.
Do
Yeah.
not.
Mm-hmm.
These are not bedtime
This is,
stories.
yeah, this is
Not
for
for
later.
children. I'm like,
It's
there
for
are other
later.
books you can read. Let me check mommy's
This is
bookshelf.
what you give them when they're having like their like 20 something ungrateful
Yes.
moment and you're like,
Yes.
you need to read this and
Yes.
see what it took to get
And
you to your little
and when I
comfortable
think
place,
about
son.
like, this being a book, and I've said this through the whole book tour, like it being the legacy that I want my boys to have of me
Yes.
as a woman and as their mother. I
Yes.
mean, like when they're over 18.
Right.
I don't,
Right. That was gonna be
it's
my final something. Like what is it that you're hoping like this your boys describing you
oh
in 20 years? How are they describing you? The same
um
mother who wrote this book and who will write more.
I hope that they say that I was a woman who championed love and fought for joy and encouraged them to be kind and to mind their business.
Glory.
Not, not when people are in harm, but
Yes.
just
Yes. And
yeah,
mind
like
their
those are
business.
the things that I'm sharing in the parts of me who empowered women and love community, encourage people to build community, and love Black people. That probably be the very
Amen.
first thing that they say.
Love
There's
your
like my mama
people.
loved being Black. She loved Black people. And seeing us, everything that we talk about leads back to like how beautiful we are as a
Yes.
people. the power that we possess to change the world and to change our own communities and encourage and love and empower one another, and that we need each other. And so I hope that, even in the, oh my God, here she goes again,
Right.
that those will be the things that they see as like a bigger picture, and not me being like, fight the power, but really think about like where I talk about there's a piece in here about community, and our business being one another's business, and that we look out for each other and love on one another. And so, yeah, that is what I hope they take away from this, and just this time, however long we have with one another,
Yes.
and how
Yes.
they
I
see
love
me.
that. I
Yeah.
love that. I think that they will most definitely say
Thank
that
you,
their
Bianca.
mother, oh, yay, yes. I definitely think they will say our mother was brave enough to be and loved her people enough to be a record keeper
Yeah.
and a breadcrumb leaver,
Yeah.
and to join the ranks of those who did that for her, and then it'll inspire them to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You did a beautiful thing, friend. You
Thank
really did.
you.
A beautiful, beautiful, this is revolutionary love on a page.
Thank
And
you.
I'm just blown away by you. I'm not surprised, but I am blown away.
Yeah. Oh, I want to
Just
write
love
that
it.
down.
I
I
love it.
love that. Thank you.
Oh, friends. Okay. We're really going to wrap it up. For real. We're really going to wrap it up because I don't even know how far over the time that we've gone because I stopped looking. But while she writes that down, In a High Place, Black Motherhood and a Woman Rising, Caneeka Eleanor Miller.
Yeah.
Look it up, find it. She's a beautiful, beautiful book and a beautiful gift. Oh my gosh. Please gift this to your mother
Yes.
friends and to
Yes.
yourself. I just
Yes.
love it so much.
Yes. Thank you.
I love it so much.
Thank you so much. I have like Tiffany, we met in these Instagram streets,
We did.
raving about the color purple and on these motherhood pages. And I just love that, you can create the experience that you want to have on social media. And I'm thankful that we choose the joy and love streets, and that we were able to, connect
Find each
in this
other.
way. And I'm just so thankful for your friendship and your love and your light. This instant connection that we had, like we had known each other forever, but I just love how God just really threaded our stories and weave them together. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm honored to be a part of your
Thank
virtual book
you.
tour. Me and you, us never part.
Yeah.
You get it. I don't know who you are, but I love
Yes, thank you.
I told Kanika I was gonna try not to when I
know.
saw
We
her at the
didn't
beginning of
even.
this, like
Yes.
scream and reenact that last scene between Celia and Nettie. I was gonna try not to, and I did really good. I'm proud of me
Yes.
because I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I really wanted to just be like, okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. But there's so much. I mean, we need our own FaceTime because there's so many things, and I have
because
questions.
we didn't even talk about the piece called The Color Purple. Like, how do we
do that? How do we even skip it?
I know. Yes,
there's so much. There's so much. I want to just keep talking, but I know that we can't. So we'll just have a FaceTime, and we'll tell you about it later.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
thank you,
thank
friend.
you guys for joining us tonight.
Thanks, everyone. Go get this book and tell us how you feel about it. I want to hear. Let's discuss.
Yes.
In a high place. Mine's getting all
Yes.
marked up.
Yes, this is
So I
my
love
like
mine.
fancy copy. I have my raggedy.
Mm,
This is my fancy copy for these. My raggedy
nice.
copy is what I like.
Nice.
I've been thumbing
I
through.
like a little raggedy too.
Yes. Tomorrow, Alicia, I'm
Yes.
glad you are still
Tell
here.
us. Yes.
Tomorrow we will be back. This is going to be the last leg, so that we can dive into Thanksgiving, and
Yay.
I'll be chatting with Alicia. She's in here. Lily J. The
Yay.
final stop of the virtual tour. And Alicia and I have been friends since freshman year of college. We both
Wow.
were in human development and psychology, so
Yes.
we don't know if this is going to be like an academic talk about like just children and families, or if we're
Oh,
going
I
to
want
dive into the
that.
book. I don't know.
I want all of
But
it.
come in. She's like freaking out. She's like, no.
It's gonna be so good. I'm coming
It's
with a
going to be
notebook.
great, Alicia.
No pressure. No pressure.
You're closing it out. So we are going to have fun no matter what we end up doing tomorrow. But come back 7:30 p.m. Central Time on the Instagram streets. I look forward to seeing
Yay.
you all.
This is
Yes.
beautiful. Thank you for
Thank
sharing this
you.
space. And thank you, everyone, for holding this space for us.
Yes, we appreciate it. I love you.
Big
Bye.
love. You're going to be great. You're going to be great.
Bye.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
Bye, guys.